Hello everyone. Today's topic is that prenatal development. I am just giving the outline about this prenatal development, just basics only. We can move to slides. The prenatal development, that is the process in which an embryo gestates during pregnancy from fertilization until birth. It is the time period from fertilization to birth. Most of the psychologists and members of the medical profession believed most development takes place before birth. So the development before birth takes place in three stages or periods, which are ovum, embryo and fetus. There are many factors which are considered to understand the behavior of a developing child, that are genetically determined biological variables, non-genetically determined biological variables such as lack of oxygen during the birth process and malnutrition, etc. The third factor is that child's past learning. Next factor coming under this stage is the immediate social psychological environment by parents, siblings, peers and teachers. And the last one is the social and cultural aspects in which the child develops. Next, we are moving to the beginnings of the life. As we know, new life begins with the combination of a male sex cell and female sex cell. And the development of each individual begins when a sperm from male penetrates the wall of an ovum or egg from the mother. So these sex cells are developed in the reproductive organs. So the reproductive organ in male is that testis, and the reproductive organ from female is that ovary. Development process that begins at the conception. Conception means combination of this testis and ovaries. At that moment, the tiny tadpole-shaped sperm that will be penetrate the wall of ovum, and it releases 23 minute particles called chromosomes. At approximately the same time, the nucleus, the inner core of the ovum, breaks up, releasing 23 chromosomes of its own, so that the new individual life with 46 chromosomes. There will be 23 matched chromosomes in ovum and 22 matched chromosomes and 1 unmatched chromosome, that is X and Y in spermatozoa. When this X chromosome from ovum and Y chromosome from sperm combines, it forms the gender boy. And like that, from ovum X chromosome and from spermatozoa also the X chromosome combines and it forms the girl child. There are some important characteristics regarding the individual sex that we can discuss. Why the sex of individual is important to lifelong development. The first thing is that each year children come under increasing cultural pressure from parents, teachers and their peer group and society at large to develop attitude and behavior patterns that are considered appropriate for members of their sex. So the children who learn to behave in that ways that are considered appropriate for their sex are assured of social acceptance. Like that, acceptance they got by the society itself, that will be depends on the attitude and behavioral pattern of the child where he has growing or where he is developed. And the second is that learning experience that are determined by individual sex. So the children learn what is considered appropriate for members of their sex. If a boy who learns to play girls game is called a sissy, and girls who want to play boys games are called tomboy type girl. That is the custom undergoes in the society, and the attitude of parents and family members also very important. During the early years, when the foundation of personality pattern are being laid, the children must get equal share of mother's attention. We can have one example that if a mother having the twin child, that time mother also showing some partiality towards boy child, and not giving that much priority to girl. That is the attitude of parents, some are going on, and where the mother gives more attention to one and not to the other, the later they may feel rejected and thus develop a personality which may be negative. So that negative attitude they are getting from the home itself. So recent studies shows that the traditional preference for a boy, especially for the firstborn, still persists, which is so strong that the attitude of parents and family members are affected and in the process of the developing infant. Then the second way in which male and female sex cells differ in number of preparatory stages of development they pass through before they are ready to produce a new human being. All sex cells must pass through the preliminary stages of development. For example, in male sex organs there are two stages, that is maturation and fertilization. Beyond that, one more is adding to the female sex cells development, that is ovulation. So in male sex cells there are two stages, that is maturation and fertilization, but in the case female sex cells, that is maturation, ovulation and fertilization. So maturation, that is the process of chromosome reduction through cell division. So one chromosome from each pair goes to a subdivided cell, which in turn splits lengthwise and forms two new cells. The mature cell, which is called haploid cell, there will be the presence of 23 chromosomes, and maturation of sex cells does not occur until the sex maturity has been attained. Next stage is that ovulation, that will be present only in female sex cells, so it is known as the preliminary stage development limited to the female sex cells. That is the process of escape of one mature ovum during the menstrual cycle. Two ovaries alternately produces a ripe ovum during each menstrual cycle. That is about ovulation. The next stage is that fertilization. Fertilization, as we discussed earlier, it occurs at the time of conception, and it is the third stage of development preliminary to the beginning of a new life. It normally occurs while the ovum is in the fallopian tube. In fallopian tube, there is the mixing up of sperm and ovum takes place. So there will be the process, fertilization will be taking place. Next, we are discussing about some characteristics of prenatal period. Very easy points we have here. Most important and first period of development, and it considers the first but shortest period for the newborn. And it starts from conception and ends at the birth time of baby. So it takes approximately 270 to 280 days or 9 months. There are some hereditary factors which are important for prenatal development, and it will be serves as the foundation for later development. While favorable or unfavorable condition both before and after birth may and probably will affect to some extent the physical and psychological traits that make up this hereditary endowment. The changes will be quantitative but not qualitative. So, the favorable and unfavorable conditions of the mother's body can foster the development of hereditary potentials. Sometimes this hereditary potential also influenced by environmental conditions that they affect the embryo or the fetus, as the case may be, affecting the development adversely. At the time of conception, the sex of the baby is fixed. No one can change that except in the case of sex transformation. So during this period, proportionally greater growth and development takes place. During 9 months, the child grows from microscopically small cell to an infant. And it is considered as the most hazardous period comparing to other periods of lifespan. It certainly is a time when environmental or psychological hazards can have marked effect on the pattern of later development. During this period, the attitude of pupil towards the newly created individual has significant impact on the development. Example, mother's positive attitude gives positive character, or that will be very helpfully affect the new individual. Next, we are discussing about periods of prenatal development. This period is considered as the 10 lunar months of 28 days, or 9 months or 180 to 334 days. It will be approximately 38 weeks or 266 days. So prenatal period that we can classify into three period, that is period of the zygote, period of the embryo, and period of the fetus. First one is that period of zygote, that is the time from fertilization to the end of second week. So the first cell which fused from the ovum and sperm, that is known as zygote. It has 46 chromosomes and it looks like an unfertilized egg. Less than 2 days after the sperm unites with the egg, the zygote divided into two cells. Then these two cells each divide again, and the process of division goes on, forming in 9 months a new born or a new human being. Next period is that period of embryo, that is from end of second week to the end of the second lunar month. At that time, zygote changes and it looks like embryo. That embryo develops into a miniature human being, and it begins on 15th day after conception and continues until about 8th week, or until the embryo is 1.2 inches in length. During this period, the cells of the embryos are not only multiplying, but they are taking on specific functions. There are some specific functions takes place that period, that is known as differentiation, and it is during this critical period of differentiation, growing fetus is most susceptible to damage from external sources, including viral infections, X-rays, and other radiations, and also poor nutrition, that is malnutrition. Teratogens, that is known as the external factors or external sources that introduced during this period, may cause severe problems such as absence of one or more limbs or heart that will be outside of the chest cavity at birth. So beginning of the vertebra, lower jaw, the larynx, that is known as the voice box, and the rudiments of the ear and eye develop at weeks of 4 and 5. The heart, which is still outside the body, now beats at regular rhythm. So, teratogens may cause very serious problems involving esophagus, vertebrae, and eyes. The baby could be born with severe facial clefts, missing hands or feet. In the week 6, there will be the formation of nose, jaw, palate, lung buds, fingers, and toes. Toes will be webbed. It will be look like as normal after few weeks. The tail will be descending. The heart is almost fully developed. So the teratogens at this point may leave the baby with profound heart problems or cleft lip. You might not know about that cleft lip and heart problems. That is because of the teratogens at this time of prenatal period. In week 7, eyes move forward on the face eyelids and tongue begin to form, and all essential organs have begun to form. So teratogens may cause heart and lung problems, a cleft palate and ambiguous genitalia. That time genitalia will not be that much clear. And week 8 there will be the resemblance to human being, and facial features continues to develop, and the external ear appears. There will be the beginnings of external genitalia, and circulation through umbilical cord is well developed, and there will be the formation of long bones, and muscles are able to contract. So teratogens may cause heart problems and stunting of fingers and toes. Last one is that period of fetus, that is from the end of the second lunar month to the birth. So embryo is developed enough to call a fetus, and all organs and structures found in full-term newborn are present. So the head comprises nearly half of the fetus size, and face is well formed at weeks 9 to 12. The eyelids closes now and will not reopen until about the 28th week. So the tooth buds of the baby appears, and genitalia are now clearly visible, so we can identify through the scans and all which gender the baby has. And beginning of the second trimester is from week 13 to 16. So the skin of the fetus is almost transparent, and fine hair develops on the head, that is known as lanugo. Fetus makes active movements including sucking that leads to some swallowing of amniotic fluid. Then meconium, that is a thin dark substances that will be made in the intestinal tract, and our hearts beat 120 to 150 per minute. At this time brain waves are highly detectable. Week 17 to 20, appearance of eyebrows and lashes and nails. And it is known as the exciting time for parents, because mother can feel the fetus movement and hear the heartbeat with the help of stethoscope. During the week 21 to 24, there will be the eye components are fully developed. Footprints and fingerprints are formed. There will be 11.2 inches size, and entire body is covered in cream cheese like vernis sesiosa, and fetus has startle reflex action. Many reflexive actions are automatic and unlearned respond to specific stimuli. Then during the week 25th to 28th, rapid brain development of the fetus occurs. There will be development in the nervous system which will control some body functions, and eyelids open and closes during this week, and the baby born at this time may survive, but there is a chance of complications and death are high at this period. During week 29 to 32, there will be the development occurs towards independent life. The fetus starts its independent life there onwards. Rapid increases in the amount of body fat, and the fetus begins to store the minerals such as iron, calcium and phosphorus. Bones are developed, but they are still soft and pliable. Rhythmic breathing movement present, and there will be fetal body temperature is partially self-controlled. There will be the increased central nervous system which controls over the body functions of the fetus. During week 33 to 36, there will be the body hair that begins to disappear, and baby born at 36 week has a high chance of survival. And during the week 38, it is known as full-term fetus. That time mother is capable of supplying the fetus with antibodies that lead to protect it against the disease. So that all about the third stage. This is about the prenatal development of a child. That's all about today's class. If you have any queries, anything you want to get more clear on the topic I have shared here, please let me know through comments. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.